Hey everyone, Meinke from MLive.com, joined by Justin Rogers. Matthew Stafford is a guy we've talked about throughout the season, both because of his diminished performances, we'll say, early in the season, particularly behind that offensive line, and then of course with the purging of the front office, or the top of the front office anyway. His future is very much in question. And Stafford, I've been impressed with the way he's responded to some of those criticisms. He's played much better in the past two games, Justin. Two of his three best passer ratings of the season. Certainly an improved offensive line helps him in that regard. But what's your take on Stafford and maybe why he's performed a little bit better the past 2 weeks?
Not turning the ball over. I think it's as simple as that. And as you alluded to, the offensive line has played better. Another thing that I think I noticed, I actually asked him about it today, and he seemed surprised by the question. I think they've been playing more in shotgun.
Well, I think they have.
Yeah, they have. Yeah. And I should say, I think that has aided his performance, gives him that extra half second where he doesn't have to turn his back to the defensive line of scrimmage, can diagnose and make good throws. And I think all those little small things, that's a Jim Bob Cooter change. All those small things have led to more efficiency.
Well, I asked him about his conversations with fans at the gas pump. That was a very newsworthy question. Actually, it was kind of interesting just to hear the fan reaction he gets. People going up to him saying, you know, I'm your last fan and stuff like that. It's awful. But I also asked him about the protection and how that affects his performance.
Sure.
Because I'd asked him earlier in the year, around week 6, week 7, week 8, when things were really dire for him, you know, just about his trigger, you know, and if the trigger finger was maybe a little jumpy because of just the crazy amounts of pressure that he was facing, unmarked pass rushers and all this stuff. And he acknowledged, yeah, you know, it's going to affect anyone when you're getting hit that hard and that often. But now the past 2 weeks, he's only been hit 7 times, sacked 4 times combined. Those numbers are less than what he faced in week 7, the last game with the old staff.
Sure.
So yeah, the protections are definitely sure. It's not perfect, but he's also not getting hit nearly as much. That's a start. Warford and some of the guys have talked about simplified blocking schemes up front. Those guys are playing better. It just gives Stafford more comfort, more time to find his guys, more time for routes to develop. I do think that's a huge issue of a huge reason for why you see Stafford performing better the past couple weeks.
Yeah, we talked to Chip Kelly today. He is the, I think, 84th consecutive coach that said Matthew Stafford can make all the throws. It's a cliche.
I'm just waiting for a coach to say he can't make all the throws. That would actually be newsworthy.
Yeah, listen, it's a cliche. It fits. I mean, Matthew Stafford has a strong arm. Nobody has ever debated that. But Kelly went further and you know, really praised Stafford's toughness. And it's something we've talked about and given him his due. Yeah. He said, you know, Stafford takes hits in that pocket and just keeps bouncing back up and keep making plays, keep making throws. But I agree with you. There was some gun shyness early in the season. He was trigger happy. His mental clock was thrown off, maybe no fault of his own, just because of all those unmarked rushers, all the blitzing that they were seeing that they couldn't pick up. The simplified blocking scheme has made a difference, and so now he is getting the opportunity to make all those throws, some of those downfield throws, some of those intermediate throws. He's not being forced to just check down.
Yeah, that was my question to Chip Kelly, and I liked his response a lot. The first part was just a throwaway on the arm strength thing. We get that every time, but I did find his word choice interesting with the toughness thing, which was admire. That's a pretty strong word. That's not just blowing smoke. You know, I think there really is a respect factor around the league, or at least with Kelly, on Stafford's toughness and his ability to stay back there, to stand back there, and to take a hit and deliver the ball and still be around for the next play. And that's something we saw in the middle of the season. And now he's getting better, and the protection is getting better, and you see this offense getting, starting to find its stride maybe a little bit. 18 points in back-to-back weeks, that's not going to knock anyone's hair back, and need to be better. But what I liked was, they did enough in the Packers game to win, particularly in the second half, in the fourth quarter there. And then he comes back in the fourth quarter last week, and they moved the ball much better last week, sustained drive. So I think there is evidence that the offense as a whole is getting better. Found themselves with a deficit in the fourth quarter again, and Stafford brought them back again. Just the resiliency, the toughness, and also the ability to sustain drives, I think you have to like a lot from Stafford, even though, again, the offense hasn't done enough, and you want more from that guy in that unit.
Yeah, end of the day, I consider that a 25-point performance. They really could have punched it in the way they were moving at the end.
Good point.
And they gave away 8 points in the first 2 drives with the Ebron drop and then the Stafford misfire to Abdullah. I mean, they left a lot of points on the board. I thought it was a very good offensive performance, one of their best, if not the best of the season. It does still blow my mind that they don't put up more points. I mean, given the weapons. I know we get caught in the box of what we're looking at with this team, but I still think it's among the most talented arsenals in the NFL from a passing game perspective. Yeah, the run game's not necessarily there, but I think Lance Moore's been a nice upgrade. If nothing else, he's sure-handed, he's smart, he gets open when his number is called. Theo Riddick's evolution has peaked. He's leading all running backs in receptions right now. I think he's second in receiving yardage. Very sure-handed back. Tate's sure-handed. Calvin's catching passes. I mean, Ebron's drops are really the only problem. That's 5 drops all year. I mean, that's 5 plays. I just it still baffles me that this team is not putting up more points more consistently. Maybe the Oakland game is the corner turner for them. Philadelphia has obviously been susceptible lately.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far off on a tangent, but you mentioned Theo Riddick, and that just jogged my memory. I was talking to Golden Tate today. They're both Notre Dame guys, and Tate's obviously great in open space and with the yak and all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm just curious, like your take on Riddick. And as a guy who's good in space, like just, how good is this guy? What does he do that's so successful in the open field? And he's like, man, like I'm actually jealous of the guy. And I actually ask him all the time, like, you got to teach me this, like, one step and plant, and then you're vertical. Because Golden Tate's got a lot of great moves, obviously. Yeah. But I guess what Riddick does really well is he plants that. He has a very unique ability to plant and then to turn up field and be at full speed basically in one step. And he's been harping on Riddick to teach him that move, and he still hasn't done it. So I think there's a little jealousy factor there.
I don't know.
For sure, Riddick's been good. He's been one of Stafford's favorite targets. 50 catches this year. That's only 2 behind Tate for second on the team. That's been a huge reason, I think, as well, that you've seen some uptick from Stafford. Obviously, a very important development with the offense, and at least finding some level of competency, even if like the explosiveness is not there.
As long as he keeps those turnovers down, good things I think will
continue to happen.
happen.
0 the last 2 weeks, right?
I think he had one.
Okay, we have one.
That's
But still, it's a market improvement for a guy who I think is still second in the league, behind only Peyton Manning in turnovers.
Yeah.
For Justin Rogers, I'm Meinke. We are MLive. Keep it right here.